Hello, and my name is Chad, and today I will be presenting and demonstrating how to make Asian meatballs. It is a family recipe. We have been making it for a lot of years. The ingredients you'll need is salt, sugar, oyster sauce, pepper, and garlic powder, and onions and green onions, and of course your beef. Don't mind that beeping sound in the background. I just preheated the oven early because it takes a long time. Always before you cook, wash your hands also. So I'm going to begin with cutting up the onions. You want to cut them kind of thin so you can stick them in the meat without it like making it turn all mush. Also, you want to make sure you don't have a lot, because in these kind of dishes it can be very overpowering. But you always want quite a bit of onions. Also, I have quite a bit of meat as well, so kind of want to get the meat in with the onion. Just gotta finish chopping these up real quick. So, finish this up. This is how you should chop up your onions. Not small, but not really big. Also, I gotta chop up the green onions. The only reason why you have two kind of onions is because the regular onion gives it a certain flavor, and so does the green. I like using both of them. You don't necessarily have to, but it's something I just do, and everybody else does in the family. So I'm gonna finish chopping these up. Okay, now we are going to add it to the meatball. Well, the meat. So then it should look like that. I mean, you don't have to put it on top, it's all going to be mixed in anyway, but then you're going to want to take your garlic powder, sprinkle it right over the top, not a lot, but you're going to want to take your salt. I usually don't just pour it out of the container because it spills out quite a bit, but you're going to just want to sprinkle that over the top of it. And so now we're done with the garlic and the salt, but now we need the pepper. I guess you don't really need pepper, it's all depending, but I like using pepper because it gives it a better taste. And now we are done with the pepper, and then we're gonna go to the oyster sauce. Now the oyster, if you don't have the oyster sauce, then you just really can't make it. The oyster sauce, it is what makes it. You're gonna put a decent amount. I also have a lot of meat in here. It's depending on how much meat you have. So finish pouring that. Now, after you're finished pouring that, you're gonna want to just sprinkle some sugar over it. You just want to put enough sugar that, because the oyster sauce is a very strong flavor and it's not really sweet, so that's why you want the sugar. But now this is where the washing your hands comes into play, because now you gotta mix it all together. And you're gonna want to mix it until the meat kind of gets brown from the sauces. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, but at least close. And you're just gonna keep on mixing it until you can get everything mixed in together. And so finish mixing this. So now I'm gonna go wash my hands real fast and add just a little bit more oyster sauce in it. So I'll be back 1 second. Gotta add a little bit more because it didn't quite turn out as brown as I needed it to. But now we should be just fine. Make sure after you roll it up into balls and stick it on the pan that your oven is preheated to 350. And you're gonna want to stick it in there for about 45 minutes. If you're making not as much meat as I am, you can stick it in there for 40. It's all depending on the size or the amount. But now you're just gonna roll it in the balls just like this. And you don't want them really close to each other. I mean, you're gonna want them maybe an inch and a half away from each other, because if you have them really close together, you're not gonna fully get spaced out. That is how spaced it should be. Just like 2 fingers apart is what I usually do. Just makes it easier. You actually don't have to have a tape measure that way. But so you're just gonna keep on rolling them. Now I like I said though, you don't want to put a lot of onions in it, because the simple fact, if you put a lot of onions in it, it'll just make the meat fall apart. So that's why you put like a half an onion to a little bit more than half an onion in it. But like I said, depending on how much you make, like, so let's say a normal sized beef pack, probably put a half an onion, just 1 pound. So I made about 2 pounds here, but that's because gotta feed a little bit more. So I'm almost finished up getting the meat ready to go into the oven. Gotta space these out a little bit more. Now let me finish up doing this. Alrighty. Now I'm gonna wash my hands real quick. Alright, and now we will go over. Hold on. Before you put it in the stove, you're maybe gonna want a half a coffee cup of water. It's just, well, you just want to fill up the bottom of it, because that way when you're eating it with rice or whatever you prefer, sticky rice, it makes more juices to eat with the rice. So now we are going to head over here to the stove. So this is already preheated to 350. We're gonna stick it in the oven and then put it on timer for 45 minutes. And I will see you when the food's done. Alright, we are back and we are with the finished product. Like I said, it should just be a nice golden light brown, and it tastes delicious. I already tried it. So here we are, and I hope you can use this for future references on cooking food, and you have an amazing day.